Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sell for 1% video series. I know there's a new up here. You're wondering where the best-looking realtor in the USA is, but he's not here today. It's just me and big broker Dave Barlow, and we have Jodi back here with us with Ruoff Mortgage, and we wanted to take a moment and talk with Jodi about the products she offers, but also what differentiates her and her company from a lot of the other mortgage lenders here within Central Ohio. Jodi, how are you?
Good. How is everybody? Thanks
Doing
for
great.
having me today.
Yeah, no problem. We appreciate you having on. Well, hey, I know we talked a little bit offline before we jumped on here about kind of what you do for your clients and what you offer that might give them an advantage here in this market with your particular knowledge in this industry.
So I would say for me, it's probably my experience and knowledge. I've been in the business since, 1999. So for 21 years, I started in the business when I was 10. And, but it's really that. Right. Yeah. But really, but I think it's having a team and developing a system and developing a process that it can be duplicated every single time and have an expectation that's met every single time because we do it the same way every single time. So, we try to communicate as much as possible. The team has a team email address so everybody can see what's happening during the process. We have a team phone number that rolls through our team, so someone's always answering the phone here. And then every single client that we have has access directly to me for my cell phone to be able to text or call anytime. So we just know that it's really important right now for communication. We know we're in a vulnerable time right now also with kind of not knowing what's going on with, our COVID-19 situation and actually still wanting to buy homes or wanting to sell your home and in a competitive market. So we're just conscientious of that and try to be completely transparent and communicate as much as possible.
That's awesome. Yep, and we all know that communication is probably the most important thing in this industry with how quickly everything's moving. I know, Dave, how many of you had gone into contract here over the last week?
I think on listing side, we've had somewhere probably in the neighborhood of 8 to 10 listings go into contract. Yep. Most of them are always sitting, for a couple, 3 days. We try to at least leave them on for 3 days to do best and highest and get as many people through the front door as we possibly can. But I do know that when we look at contracts coming in, if we like a contract, the next thing that we're looking for is a pre-approval letter. And, and I tell my clients on the listing side of my sellers, I, as a listing agent, work for you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. And so there are a couple of lenders, here in the Columbus area that if I see their pre-approval letter, it's not good news because they don't do what they say they're going to do. Yeah. We all make mistakes. I make mistakes. I've been doing it just about a year longer than Jodi, 22 years. And so, I've made lots of mistakes over my career, but you learn from those mistakes and you try to get better each and every day. But when you get the second and the third pre-approval letter and the lender hasn't done their due diligence and they're just writing letters to write letters, in this competitive market, you want to have as strong a lender as you possibly can. And Jodi's been doing this for a long time. And so when I see her name on a pre-approval letter, I tell my clients, hey, this is a good lender. This buyer's been vetted. If you go into contract with them, it'll close.
Yeah.
And that's
yeah. When we were talking, you had a good example with one of the clients that you were talking about offline here. That, a lot of buyers, when I talk to them, their automatic assumption is, hey, I have to get a conventional loan. It has to be 20% down, or, hey, I've only had a part-time job for this amount of time, and I know for a fact that I can't get approved. What are some of the things that you see that you do for your clients to give them some peace of mind, but tell them, hey, I'll get it figured out for you?
I ask the agents that I work with is, when you have a client like that that's presenting a situation is, get me into the phone call, get me in front of them. Let's connect us together in a 3-way text or whatnot so that we can pick up the phone and have a conversation. Because a lot of times, as an agent, we expect you to do your job 100%, but we don't expect you to be 100% lending knowledgeable. So that's where you're connected to a trusted partner that is knowledgeable that you can get your client in front of that might have an iffy situation that we discuss and walk through it. So, and even if you can't buy today, we're going to figure out when that date that you can start looking will be. So, I think my situation that I had was I had a young lady that has 3 children at home. She just had her another child in, I believe it was March, and had some complications. So she had been working part-time throughout the past few years, but then was out of work during, January, February, March during her complications, and then just took a full-time new job. So she thought she got denied from another bank actually. And then I looked at it a little bit more closely, and they qualified for a conventional loan. I ran it through automated underwriting, ran it through my head underwriter, and we're fine. So wow. She thought she was so disappointed, her heart sunk. She thought she couldn't move forward and buy this home, which they were already in contract to buy. The listing agent was disappointed. The sellers were disappointed, thought that they couldn't buy. I knew the listing agent, so I reached out to him and I'm like, yo, for lack of better words, I said, let's talk through it, and let me tell you what I see, and let me tell you what I think, and let me tell you what we can do and what I've done to be proactive. So, I gave him some confidence that I did my steps to make sure we could do it, that I wasn't going to tell him I could do it and not be able to do it. So it turned out great, and they're all excited again, and everything's rolling forward. So that's wonderful. Just an example. And that's kind of what we do, though. Even with buyers that, if they had a bankruptcy and they don't think they can buy yet, we're going to determine when, and it might be FHA before conventional. It might be conventional before FHA. It just depends on foreclosure time and if it was included in a bankruptcy or not, a property. So there's all these little idiosyncrasies to different loan types that we have, trigger points in our minds with experience to know what questions to ask to determine, if they're qualified or not.
Awesome.
One of the things that we talk about within our group, and it sounds like you're doing the same exact thing, you're a problem solver. Mm-hmm. Not every deal is going to go smooth. And when you have a problem, you figure out a fix for it. And you move on. Like one of the things in the previous video that we just did was you talked about the PMI, and that can impact purchasing power for a buyer. So I'd like for you to touch on that again and just explain what you do with PMI insurance, because like you said, a lot of people think they got to put 20% down, and that's not true. But if you don't put down to 20%, then I might get hit for additional PMI, and then my income to debt ratios are out of whack and I can't buy the house I want. So I'd like for you, if you would, just touch on that for us.
Sure. So when we're referencing PMI, we're talking about conventional lending, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac conventional lending. As a first-time home buyer, you can put as minimal as 3% down these days, and a lot of people don't even know that.
Right.
And that comes with monthly mortgage insurance. That's not really an option for a single premium, but let me expand on that a little bit. If you're a first-time home buyer and you're putting 5% down on a conventional purchase, you can. There's always going to be mortgage insurance if you're putting less than 20% down. Always. It's going to be there somewhere. Somebody's going to tell you, oh, I got a conventional loan and there was no mortgage insurance, and that's not true. It's there somewhere. So basically, my scenario is if you're purchasing a home putting 5% down, you have the option to have monthly mortgage insurance, which is insurance to the investor who's servicing your loan that you're not going to belly up on your mortgage. It's not homeowner's insurance. It's mortgage insurance. So you can take monthly, which makes your payment higher and makes it so you qualify for a little bit less of a home, because our qualifications is based on debt ratio.
Yep.
So, we take your monthly payment and what your income is to show us and your total debt to see what your total debt ratio is. So if the mortgage payment's higher, your debt ratio is higher, it's less home you're going to qualify for.
Okay.
So there's a little trick to this. If you pay your bills on time and you have a good credit score, or let's say you're right on the cusp and maybe there's a couple little steps we need to take to get your scores to pop a little higher, I can tell you how to do that also. But typically, if your scores are higher, you have the option to take a single premium, which is a one-time lump sum, and you can finance it into the loan, or you can pay it out of pocket to eliminate the monthly mortgage insurance for the life of the loan. It's gone. Wow. So that makes your monthly payment lower. Your debt ratio now went lower. Now you qualify for a little bit more home. So that's the trick there that a lot of people don't realize that you can do. And when I sit down with, let's say, a conventional buyer, even if it's through OFA, for Ohio Housing Finance Agency down payment assistance, Even if it's for that particular program, we walk through all 4 or 5 scenarios of what it looks like in different ways, with 3% down, with 5% down with monthly mortgage insurance, with 5% down in a single premium financed, with 5% down with a single premium paid out of pocket, with and without down payment assistance. We look at all those things. Because for me, when you come in and let's say you're going to get pre-approved and you're a first-time home buyer, I want to make sure you understand, what you're looking at for loan options. And that you actually can see it in front of you, because numbers can be tricky. I mean, talking about numbers is one thing, but actually seeing them on a spreadsheet and me walking you through them, even if it's a Zoom meeting, and sharing my screen so you can see, even if we're going to do it that way, then it, it triggers in your mind. It makes more sense of what the options actually are.
Yeah, visual learning. No, that's fantastic. And Jodi, that's great information. And I'm glad we had the opportunity to get you on here and have a conversation about this. Guys, if you were looking to buy, as we've said in almost every video, with the historically low interest rates, now's a great time to buy and save you money over the life of your loan. If you need a buyer's agent, you need somebody to help you get you in contract, or if you're looking to list, please give us a call at 614-451-6616. That's 614-451-6616. You can also look for us at www.sellfor1%.com. Jodi, how can they get a hold of you?
The best way to get a hold of me is typically just to call me or text me. So my cell phone is 614-206-1687. If you want to fill out an online application, that's a little more convenient for you. That website's www.lenderohio.com. And you can always email me at jodi@ruoff.com, which is JODI@RUOFF.com. Just a sidebar there, just for everyone to know, is that a loan partner that I brought on board 3 years ago that's flown under my wing for all during that time. I've trained him like my son, is also Hispanic. So if you are Hispanic, or that's your primary language, and you're having difficulty understanding the process, and you would love to buy a home but just can't figure out the best way to go about it, and want to learn all about it, Jorge Castillo is his name, and you can reach him at VLT@ruoff.com. It's our Vermillion lending team. Email VLT@ruoff.com, and he can guide you through the process.
And we're going to do a video with him next.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great and safe week, and we'll see you again on the next video.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time. Take care.